Welcome again, Leo. It's November 2018. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. I've got my eye on you because this transit of Jupiter in your fourth sector is very, very important. If you recall last week, we talked about the restrictive influence of Saturn on your life. This week I want to change things a little. I want to move into the exact opposite of that, what it is that causes you to expand. And right now, the fourth sector of your horoscope, which relates to family, relates to your, pardon me, your roots, that's activated right now by Jupiter. One of the lesser known implications of this fourth house isn't people or family or your property. Yep, all of that stuff is covered by the fourth house, and that will indeed be activated by the transit of Jupiter, and right now also the transit of Venus, which has just made its way into this part of your horoscope. But consider this. I've said this a few times before, but I'll repeat it again. Home is where the heart is. And I think that's the point of this transit of Jupiter. Jupiter is actually a very favourable planet for you. It's not considered an ideal location for it in the fourth house, particularly from the fourth house from the lunar position. But because we don't know your lunar position or your ascendant, you can apply these readings to either your ascendant, sun sign, or lunar sign, and generally get similar results. But the fourth house has to do with your peace of mind. That can be disturbed. The search for happiness is, believe it or not, in itself the cause of unhappiness. Does that make any sense to you? I say to people, when you are looking for happiness, you assume and therefore assert that you don't have it. It's like, where are my glasses? Where are they? I've been looking everywhere for them. Oh, right, they're here, right now. So this never-ending search for happiness is the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give up the search. The moment you give up the search, there's a realization that you are yourself happiness, and that the way to be happy is I call it the two-word mantra. When any client asks me, Dadhichi, how can I be happy? I say, be happy. That's the mantra. Be happy. Assert that you are happiness. I read this scientific journal, which actually was interesting because you know that there's a direct correlation between the nerves in the face and the brain. And so when you're unhappy, those emotions, that emotional state creates, this. But what they found is that the reverse is true too. If you fake the smile, those receptors have an unusual sort of way of reverse engineering the process so that you can actually feel happy. I guess that boils down to, that old saying, until you make it, fake it. But it's true. I know, I'm not joking. I'm saying right now, to be happy, you have to just try it momentarily as an experiment. Turn off the search for happiness. Because if you think about it, I see it all the time. Oh, what are you up to? Oh, I'm on the path. What do you mean the path? Oh, I'm on the path to happiness. I'm doing yoga, I'm, studying Gestalt, all of these. A path is really a distance you create, and a postponement in time. So whenever you allocate a certain time and place, a path and a future time at which point you expect to achieve your happiness, you are doing exactly the opposite in this moment. You're postponing that. You are delaying that. You are basically denying yourself the happiness that is here and now. So this transit of Jupiter is precisely that. It is the acknowledgement of this moment, the acknowledgement of yourself in this moment, and the relaxing, the non-resistance, which is Saturn, the non-resistance to what is. Now sometimes, of course, we're in pain, we're having, a bit of a problematic day. That may well be the case. And if you're feeling unhappy in that moment, don't make yourself more unhappy about that unhappiness by dwelling on it. Just allow it to be and take a position of a witness, a spectator. When you're watching a really emotional movie, you cry. Of course, you cry and you get involved in the emotions of that, but there's this little part of you just sitting back there, observing this, knowing in your heart of hearts that this is not at all affecting you. And so the transit of Jupiter in the 4th house is a challenge for you to be happy, to simply rest in your own nature and not project into the future. Once I have this, once I have that. Do a little exercise, go back in time. I remember when I was a kid hanging out to get my first purple dragster. I finally got it, polished it every day. I was happy. That moment arrived, I was happy. I was pretty happy. A year later, it's off in the corner collecting dust. And now my unhappiness mechanisms kicked back in, and I'm thinking about the next thing I can get, the next circumstance that's going to make me happy. You got it? I think you get the drift. So stop postponing it. Try that experiment. Come back next month if you will. We're going to continue this discussion. In the meantime, don't forget to take a squiz at astrology.com.au. We'd love to have you there. So much of the stuff there is for free. There's a lot more information, such as what I'm discussing here, but in much more depth. I hope you'll do that. Look forward to your company again next month. Bye-bye for now.